as you start falling asleep, you enter this state called hypnagogia, where, from my limited research and understanding, your prefrontal cortex starts to shut down a little bit, or rather it's inhibited. And so what this means is that your filter for the world of your logic and the parts of your decision-making process where you go, no, that's unrealistic, that can't happen, I would never say that, that all shuts down, right? And so you might end up thinking that you've got, why have I got two clouds walking around my house? And it happens to be just your cats that you're thinking about. But typically this can be super useful for things like business and creativity, because you can start thinking about issues and thoughts and ideas that without your usual concerns, worries, judgments, that sort of thing, right? Like you might just have two balls of fluff walking around your house. And so you end up coming up with all of these great ideas where all of them feel like absolute winners. And if you write them all down, you'll probably wake up in the morning and be like, half of these are just stupid and I'm not doing those. Because it's without that connection barrier. It's why dreams make no sense. Alcohol does something similar in the brain where you don't notice, you don't have those logic filters as much, you start making riskier decisions, but obviously you're not entering sleep, you can still move. And you're not hallucinating as much. But I just had a load of really cool ideas last night of talking about things I was struggling to come up with ideas, and I had a load and I was like, that's a load of really good ones. Like I was really happy to get up and do them, but I was falling asleep, so I didn't. So yeah, there's many people in history who have used this thought process to generate new ideas, to think outside the box a little bit when it's required. And I think a lot of the creative process benefits from that. And it's why the greats in history, the ones who have actually changed humanity, who are obsessed by a single thing, have these such out-of-the-box ideas, not because they're like special or interesting or anything like that. It's because I think they're so dedicated to this one thing that when they're falling asleep, you're kind of putting together all of these ideas from the day and what you're thinking about throughout that day, what's happening tomorrow, the things you're interested in, and it's always around that subject. And so you're just increasing the frequency where this happens, and then you come up with ideas that are genuinely fantastic, because it allows your brain, I say allows, I don't know if this is generally a good thing. Dreams make no sense when you say them out loud, because you get rid of that like, this makes sense in reality filter. And so ideas that would never happen at the same time can, in your ideas, in your brain, in your dreams. And so that's where you end up with this like cross-pollination of really fascinating ideas. I think Einstein did this actually to get his Nobel Prize for the photoelectric effect, or whilst he was working on that, he was looking at wave-particle duality of photons, and was like, well, if we can have it for photons, why can't we have it for electrons? Like, let's just run the maths and see if it works, and then predicted something happening like the photoelectric effect, and then he tested it and it did happen and it was true. And it was this wild idea of, well, if it happens over here, why not over here? And no one had ever considered it before. Yeah, kind of crazy, eh? Actually, I think it was the other way around. I think it was because of the photoelectric effect. Whatever the issue is, by the by. But yeah, you get some crazy ideas when you are falling asleep. So if you're struggling for any, go take a nap. Peace.